Yo, welcome. I'm Xavier,
I'm Jordan.
and this is Two Shades of Black, where we talk about
Uh-oh.
controversial topics that no one really likes to touch and talk about, and we tote the lines between
Black, black,
light,
controversial,
north, south,
south, east,
controversial,
something,
all of the
something.
above. We just talk about anything and everything and all the different shades that comes along with it.
You
And
won't go there, but we will.
oh, big facts. And you'll learn as we go through these episodes that I see no bounds, no boundaries for me, sir.
As an understatement. So, there's a yin and there's a yang. So let's figure out which one he is.
Exactly. And better way to start it off is one of the hottest button topics out there. And it's been around for God knows how long, since what? Women's rights came out?
Do they have any?
I think they got a little bit.
A little bit.
And don't worry, this is not a discussion where we bash women. We actually hold women to a good standard. I don't put them on a pedestal, but they had a good standard, neck and neck, some equality, not all, but either way, which leads us into our new topic: double standards. I'm gonna just throw it out there. One of us is in a relationship, one of us is not. So at the end of the day, if you're watching this and you feel some type of way, well, like me, I ain't got no filter. Get out your feelings, because this ain't about you. All right. Either way, so double standards in the professional life. I'm gonna go ahead and just say it. I believe there is a double standard, and there should be a double standard. And in my opinion, when it comes to the professionalism of the world, women have traits that they're absolutely great at, and then there's men that have traits that they're absolutely great at. And when it comes, that it complements each other. That's like why you sometimes never see men as secretary. Can I multitask? Oh, heck yeah. Can I do it great? Nah, not in the least bit. And I'm gonna use that to influence the double standards that I'm talking about, because you'll see more women as secretaries because they can handle and juggle a lot of things. When you look at moms, when you look at a multitude of things, they were. And hold on, Jordan, I see your face. Let me get my thought out.
Please,
Hold
get it
on.
out. Get it out. Go ahead.
Either way, when you look at it from a mothering, a nurturing standpoint, they're essentially the ones in the traditional world that handled a lot of the things at home. All we had to do was go home, punch the clock, make a paycheck, and come back. Now, I'm not saying our job wasn't hard when we got to the job, but they had a lot of multitude of things in the traditional world of handling. Go ahead, Jordan. Let me get your thoughts.
I like what you're saying there. I like what you're saying, Xavier. But here's the thing. We're looking at this. Women can juggle things, and so can we. But the question that I need to have answered from you is, are you living a traditional life with this professionalism? We're talking about professional, what, double standard. Or we don't live in a world where a woman just stays home and cooks and cleans anymore. Women go out there and get to the bag.
Well, I beg to
And I'll
differ.
give
That's
an
the type of woman
example.
I'm looking for.
Going just cooks and cleans and stays at home in an apron.
I'm a traditional man. If I'm gonna go out and get the bag,
Are you? Are you a traditional man?
I try to
I
live a
disagree. You're
traditional
not.
lifestyle.
You don't. You don't. I know you. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. You do not live a traditional lifestyle. You live outside. This is the reason why we're doing this freaking show. That is totally not true. I think you're picking and choosing when you want to be traditional. That's not going to fly. Like,
I'm
how's that? That can't fly.
Ish. I'm a traditional-ish.
Traditionalist. Okay. As long as we have that established, I think the double standard for women is trash. And the reason why And I believe everyone has a role that they can be, provide to society. But I think at the end of the day, what it really comes down to is, can you do this position that the man can do and do it well at the end of the day? That's what matters. And I'll give an example. I was at I'm gonna jump off women for a second. I was at a presentation, a timeshare presentation.
They still have those?
And they do. There was a couple years that I legit was able to skate through and pay for a couple $, because I'll just use it'll be like $100 for like 3 nights or like for a week. Absolutely. You just gotta sit in a room for like 2 hours for you to sell me some crap that I'm not gonna, buy. Absolutely. So they're having a discussion with me, and it's a male, but he was gay. He was a gay male. And I walk out at the time, and there's no way I'm buying this stupid timeshare, because not only was the timeshare wasn't somewhere I wanted to be, but the pitch was just trash. He sucked. Now, if they brought the big booty girl back in there, it would have been fine. I might have been like, here, sign me up. Are you coming? But that's beside the point. So my partner at the time was still sitting there while I walked away. She goes, he said you didn't like him and didn't accept it because I'm gay. And now I'm pissed, because you think that I didn't want to buy a weak timeshare from you because you're gay. No, it wasn't because you're gay. It's because you couldn't do the job. You didn't sell me enough. You sucked. You were trash. So when we're talking about these standards, and I've seen women in this industry that have sold people these timeshares. I was looking at people walking out, and there was a woman, and she wasn't the woman that I was looking at. I was like, that she can buy, I'll buy whatever. But it was just a nice looking, it was a nice older woman. I was able to do the job that a man couldn't do. It wasn't a secretary. It wasn't anything of that hierarchy. It was just, she was a better salesman or saleswoman than that person. And sometimes we try to utilize these standards as a reason for us to be good at something. I just think that's not true.
Okay. But do you feel that a man could also have done that job? Now, I understand, yes, it was a man that was gay, but if it was another man put in that position, whether he was gay, heterosexual, whatever the gender fluid, unicorn, whatever the case may be, and he had actual sales experience, do you think it would be a different thing, or is it still a double standard? Because don't get me wrong, I usually buy anything that comes from a big booty Latino. That's probably why half of my bank account is empty. But what I'm saying is, if it was, whether it was a woman or a male, as long as you could get the point across, and this kind of weighs into like my background of sales in the industries and my endeavors that I've done. Women that sell into male focused industries typically do better, because it's a very disarming way for a lot of men to not feel like they're being sold, but being talked to. And women have a good way of manipulating people. Don't get me wrong. It's just the way it is. They can not know anything about the product, but as long as they sell and give a friendly flirt, they're going to hold a conversation.
Definitely beneficial.
There's going to hold conversation. Now, if I turn around and I reach out to a guy and I'm trying to flirt on the phone, it ain't going to be the same reception. It's probably not going to be received the same way.
No, not at all.
Especially if it's a Zoom call. I can't imagine my big black behind over here on a Zoom call talk about, well, dang, you handsome today. Would you like to buy some product?
They call you Chris Handsome.
Yes, sir. But either way, so I would say in that scenario, yes, there is a double standard, because sexy does sell at any day. But if you put someone that looked like Hatchet Face from Crybaby with Johnny Depp in it, looking like Hatchet Face, I'm probably not gonna sell, because I'm probably not staying in the room, because I'm not. It may sound shallow of me, but it is what it is.
So you're more attracted to the salesman and you're more inclined to listen, which is fine. But the thing is, if you're in the same room and the answer, I'm gonna question your question with an answer as well. So my answer to your question is yes. If it was a man and he was actually a good salesman, I would be more inclined to entertain the thought.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that the person tried to utilize that they suck because they thought I didn't like them because they're gay, it's kind of like, there's a reason why you suck, because you're trying to blame your sexual orientation on your lack of selling. And it doesn't matter if it was a man or a female. If you got it, you got it. That theory is brilliant. It's that simple. If you don't, I mean, like, you can't expect somebody who is a garbage man to be a salesman unless they like fell under luck. It's just levels to how people entertain, how people maneuver. If you have, like yourself, somebody who can articulate and maybe have a gift of the gab and be able to bring in something or some type of familiarity to somebody, you can sell something because that's who you are. You're well-rounded. But somebody else who may just probably, I don't know, just someone who was an ex-football player that just played football but had nothing else that they did but play football. They don't have any kind of prior training or the ability to sell. They're not going to be able to sell if they don't have the gift of the gab. It's just what it is.
What double standards do you believe there are in relationships that you've seen or witnessed or have come across?
I think when we're talking about double standards in relationships, it goes on both sides. And a lot of times I've noticed in relationships, I'm gonna go on the men's side first. It is harder for a man to really actually express themselves emotionally to their woman because of to be afraid to either, one, if something happens in this relationship, that she don't use that against them in a later time. Also, because we're supposed to be tough, we're supposed to be mentally, physically tough. So if something happens to us in a state that hurts us emotionally, we just gotta take it on the chin. We can't be like, damn, Xavier, like, I'm hurt, bro. Like, I'm hurt. Like, my feelings are hurt. We can't really say that. People may say you're allowed to, or your significant other may be like, you can talk to me, babe. You can't, because the moment you do that, you're emotional. So how do you become emotional but still be strong? And that's the double standard for men. And I think for women, and I'll speak on this from just numerous situations, they can't really have a past, or they can't really have a situation where they're allowed to maneuver like a man. And I'll jump out of relationships for a quick second to give an example, as well as give an example within a relationship. Like, a woman can never be that guy. She can never be that guy that, or a woman that can pull a bunch of men in the room and pick her and have her pick a litter. It can, but the moment she flirts with 2 out of the 3 of them, she's automatically considered a hoe. But it's like, if she doesn't want them, but she just wants to do it because she can. Just like I've been challenged at the bar by my friends to use a pickup line from a TV show and see if I can get a girl's number. And I used the Will Smith line. I was like, "Hey, baby, give me a number if I don't want it no more." And it worked. To see if I could do it, because I felt like I had that, what they calling it, the riz now. I had that kind of riz. But it's like, if a girl do something like that, if a female does something like that, we're looking at them different. And then and I just want to jump on that because it's not really fair, because it's the traditional way, but we all kind of get conditioned to that we can't really step back and be like, wait a minute, that's acceptable. It's like, now, like, we think about it like this, Xavier. Women were, if you saw their ankles 60 years ago, they were trashy. Now they just like this, and it's like, oh, it's okay. So I say all that in regards to the double standard on that standpoint, and then back into the relationship with women, they're not allowed to really follow their dreams or put the man on a back burner as much as they can, as a man can with a woman. And we can go and be like, look, baby, I'm about to go be a SoundCloud rapper, and I'm gonna need your support. So you got to pay the rent this month. For a woman, like, there are certain situations where like a man will be like, look, we want to help you get through school because they look at the end game. But a lot of times, women have to put their admirations on hold for the dreams of the man. And it's never really the other way around. Either they have to wait till they're like 45 or 50 to pursue their dreams after their kids are in college.
And I feel that I have two takes on that. On the second half of that. There are indeed still women out in this culture that still will back a man and support a man so that he can fulfill his dreams. And this may be the traditionalish me speaking.
That's what I said.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying is maybe the traditional me, where a lot of women in the older time, not the new time where they over here sexy red, F my baby daddy and all of this. I'm talking about the old time where, a woman is there to be that rib. Initially, if you a Bible thumper, if you south of the Mason-Dixon, or you crack open whatever book you crack, majority of those spoken words say, however it came, a woman came from a man's rib. She is that support. So, for example, if a man is hard on times, traditionally, a woman would pick up where the slack is. What happened in the early 1940s, 1940s and the 1930s when men went to war?
The Great Depression.
It was women that was out there working in the steel factories, keeping things going. Now,
was he the riveter?
Now, am I saying it's the same way now? I don't know if that double standard stays the same, because if you look at it now, every female out there right now is I'm not going to say every female. I'm not going to generalize nobody. Because, there are some good women that's out here coming on boats every single day. That's for another topic. Either way, what I'm saying is, the fact of the matter is, look, women nowadays want to catch their own bag. They feel like, I don't want to depend on a man. So now everything has changed. So when we look at this double standard, as which you were speaking of relationships, women are now, and I'm going to say it, you know what? I don't care if you judge me. It's like women now embracing the B word, being a bitch. They embraced it back in the early 80s and 90s, where they took that word and said, I am that bitch. Or they talk about now hot girl summer. They don't care about these double standards for the most part, where they're hanging out with different men. They're going out to get whatever they want. So, yes, I agree to a certain extent in certain social circles that a woman can't walk up to a group of men and try to hit up on all of them, like I would try to do if I go to the local Waffle House, or I'm at the Applebee's on happy hour night, where I'm over here like, I want that whole table. They're going to look at me. Exactly. They're going to look at me like, oh, he got confidence. This man, whether desperate or he just know what he want. But you turn around and look at the women who turn around and do that, and they go to the club and they're like, oh, that's a jump off. Oh, that's the neighborhood bicycle. But you know what's the funny thing about that? Like every train that's ever been ran, there's always that motherfucker in the back of the caboose that's trying to wife her up. So there's somebody for everybody. That's all I'm going to say. But
that's true.
But what, as far as, and we'll wrap up on the double standard. But what I'm saying, as far as the double standard, a lot of what used to be a double standard back in the old days are now flipping. You got women now embracing it, where it's like, I don't care of the social structures or the calling me out of my name. I don't care about that no more. At the end of the day, now if you really think about it, you could just pay $2.99 for the girl you saw last week and hop on OnlyFans. You see it, everything she got to offer. So you literally window shopping before you even approach these females. So now
That's a topic for another day.
It is a topic for another day. But the simple fact is this. There's not that many women now that I've seen in my day-to-day that has that traditional mindset of, or the traditional, I'm moving on, sir. I'm moving on. I know it's midnight for you wherever you are, but at the end of the day, it's this. In my eyes, the traditional woman is no longer the cornucopia, the thing that we aspire to be. It's a dying breed, kind of like how they say chivalry is dead. Well, chivalry died because the type of woman that we used to be chivalrous to is no longer existing. So think about chivalry, opening doors, doing whatever the lady will feel. Now we got feminists where I can open my own damn door. I can cook for myself. I can make my own bath. Well, why I got to be chivalrous if you turning around doing everything I would have been chivalrous about? And I digress from that.
Okay.
But you know what? It brings me to my next topic. Let me tell you.
What we got? All right.
What are your thoughts on passport bros? Now, I know I have passport bros stamped on my chest. I ain't gonna lie. My passport is full, and if I could, I'd bring every single one of them that I've met overseas back. But passport bros, this kind of feeds into the double standard I was just mentioning about with the women and the women changing in today's modern days. Now, for the definition of passport bros in my eyes, I'll explain it to you. Traditionally, I need to stop saying traditional like I'm over here just a traditionalist.
You're just a traditional man.
I'm telling you. But back in the day when passport bros became what passport bros is now called, it was a man who didn't want or couldn't find a woman within their community or within their area that they aspired to marry or could marry. Whether it's a man of good stature or a man who's an introvert that couldn't talk to the woman next to him. So they went around and went to another country, stamped that passport, and it was just easy. It became easy to go to the Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, Colombia, Chile, Brazil, because you know why? You had that stature coming in as an American. You had those cojones where they looked at you and they was like, you're a success. You live in America. I want to be with you because I'm in a third world country. Now modern days is, we said skip getting married to them and bringing them to America. We now going to go over and just clap cheeks and keep him pushing. So for me, there's different terms of passport bros. But either way, what's your thoughts on passport bros because of modern day society and how it sits?
Well, first and foremost, I appreciate you explaining to me what passport bros was, because I thought it was a lather where it was like, okay, stamp the passport, now I'm about to stamp some cheeks. So now I understand the background of it. I personally think that passport bros is kind of like a cop-out. I think it's kind of weak.
Okay.
And here's the reason. Now, here's my reason behind it. I'm not sitting here saying that you need to stay in your own country to find love. But if you're doing it just to get cheeks, it's like you can't get cheeks in your own country. Now, if it's just more of a convenience sake for you, I mean, I can't tell another person how to get cheeks. I mean, cheeks is easy to me. I've never had a problem getting cheeks. Cheeks they come and go. What's hard is having somebody on your side that you can actually spend time with, who's going to get on your nerves and you'll still be with them. That's hard. That's a challenge. Me, when I look at passport bros, I'm gonna give a metaphor. It's like the big fish in a small pond kind of deal.
Okay, I know it. I had to go through that with college. Well, go ahead.
It's just like, I would rather be somebody in a, big fish in a big pond so I can continue to grow. And I don't think that going somewhere in a third world country where someone looks at me as a god, but I'm a peasant back at home, it's like, it's a pseudo god, right? For me, it's just like, it's kind of weak. But it's like, if you are able to do that across the board, that's a real passport, bro. If you can do the same thing that you do in your current country and be able to do the same thing but turn it up a little more at the other countries, fine by me. Do you? But if you literally like, oh, I'm a loser here, man. I really can't get any cheeks. But then I go over there and I look like, I don't know, what's his name? Like Tom Cruise or some stuff in Mission Impossible. And I'm just doing all types of stuff in the clubs. And all these women are looking at me, can't speak the same language, but they're going to be like, whatever he is doing, Jordan, you're mine. Whatever he's doing, I'm going to bring all my girls. It won't mean anything to me. It's just like going back to the double standard. It's like hitting off a girl that everyone hits off in your hometown. There's nothing special about hooking up with a girl that anyone can get. That doesn't hold any weight. What holds value is being able to be, something of value. So for me, I can't sit here and be like, passport bros are going somewhere where we know that little Timmy, who just tried to get his nuts clipped, can go over there and get some cheeks too. I'm cool. I don't want that. If I and this is no offense to you, but if you and I go somewhere and the girl the same girl, I don't want to be able to pull the same girl that you can pull. I want to be able to pull a girl that you can't reach. That's my mentality.
Yeah, but that's going to be very difficult because once this mouthpiece right here on my son, this puts me above a lot of people's a lot of people levels. You feel me? You may be seeing me on this camera, but at the end of the day, my personality rings, huh? I'm sorry. Pardon me?
I seen you in real life, but that was an example, my friend.
Nah, I'm just playing. No, I get it.
I know you're playing.
But here's the one thing you just brought up to my attention. So you know how, and I'm not calling no female out of their name. I don't even like the word hoe, slut, whatever the case may be. Some women are promiscuous. Some women have high sex drives, and they go and seek that. You got other ones that don't. Yeah. But one thing that I do realize, just because you leave in your hood that already has a promiscuous girl and you go overseas, you just may be in somebody else's hood hooking up with a promiscuous girl.
True.
But
that is true. I can get with that.
I'll tell you a little story about my little bit of travels. Now,
okay, let's hear it.
I left the United States because at the end of the day, I left Florida, then I went to New York, and I stomped a little bit around New York. Then I went to California, and I stomped a little bit around California, and I said, what the heck? California just opened me up. There was fresh fish coming off the boats. There was people coming from all over the place. And I was just like, why don't I go to the source? Now, I understand what you mean about your lakes. You got your big fish in a small lake, he gonna eat all day. But you might have a small fish in a big lake and he can never eat because he's at the bottom of the food chain. But if you're a big fish in a big lake, you may survive. I don't know what fish I was at the time that I moved to LA. So
you little guppy.
Hey, I might have been a little guppy. I don't know what it was because I was still trying to find myself, okay? I was out there looking at clownfish, trying to talk to some of these girls, and they gave me no plate. Let me tell you. So I went ahead and went over to Thailand. I ain't gonna lie.
How'd it go?
Thailand was fun, but it's also navigating a minefield. Now, we already touched on transgenders earlier. Again, no problem with it. In Thailand, what I learned is a lot of the women in Thailand, if they look like supermodels, be careful. They may be hanging more than you are. That's all I'm saying.
Wow.
So I had to learn the hard way. Well, hold on, pause. That sounds bad. It wasn't the hard. Tea time. No Diddy.
You gotta take that out.
Pause.
You gotta take that out.
Rewind.
Hey, different strokes for different folks.
Rewind. What I'm saying is, you get over there, and as soon as, and this is we could get into this next that topic at another later date. As soon as they realized that I wasn't African, but I was like an American, their whole demeanor changed. Like where it was on first approach, it was very hesitant. They were hesitant to approach me. Again, it's a small little detail. A lot of these Asian countries and a lot of these third world countries that get an influx of Africans. I'm not saying African men are bad, but I guess they have a bad taste in some of these countries where they're very hesitant because they think of trouble. But as soon as they hear my Americanness, they know, oh, he speaks good English. Let me go ahead and be next to him. I don't know if it's just they looking for me to spend money on them. They looking for their first visa to make it back to America. They looking for a baby daddy. They looking for whatever the case may be. They whole demeanor change. When I mean demeanor, they now locked in arms with me, and I feel like a king. It boosts my confidence. And I ain't gonna lie, it was a confidence booster. Was I a shy individual growing up? No, not the least bit. No. I spoke my mind, and the people enjoyed when I speak my mind. But when I left Thailand and I went back to LA, it gave me a newfound confidence that I didn't get in LA or I didn't get in New York because I was battling echelons. So the thing that I look at for these passport boys that I can relate to just a tad bit. Now, don't get me wrong, I still pulled. But when I got back, it showed me my self-worth. It gave me the confidence that I may have not had when I first moved to LA and I talked to the girl at the bar where she looking like a dime piece with a side of with Big Mac sauce and fries. She was a whole meal. My black behind wouldn't have walked up to her and be like, hey, how you doing? I'd like to buy your Happy Meal. No, it wouldn't have been that way. But at the end of the day, when I got back from my travel, it was like, what's the worst she gonna tell me? No, I know I'm good. We just not compatible. It built that confidence that I didn't have in America. And I don't know why it was because I had to lead a country. And it was just the influx of girls to give me that instant gratification and that confirmation of who I am. But I ain't gonna lie, it opened up Pandora's box, and I was international passport stamping for the next shit. I'm still doing it every year. I'm going to a new country. Why? It started teaching me about culture. It started teaching me how to talk to different women from different backgrounds, and it gave me a plethora of knowledge that now I could bring back to America, and boy, I could touch and push buttons that most people can't. And I'm gonna say that there.
No, that's a good segue. I'll just wrap it up like this. You brought up a good point, and I think we all have that aha moment where we find out. Well, not everyone, because some of us never actually do. That moment that you said just now that you got over there, I got that moment when I was like 13.
You know what? Forget you.
And I'm sorry, but I think
this isn't a race, sir. It's a marathon.
Hey! It is a marathon, and you're kicking my butt right now. Because I'm nowhere near a passport, bro. But I say that makes sense in the sense of utilizing it. It's kind of like, I'm gonna go nerd here. With great powers comes great responsibility. You learn to hone your powers.
Okay, Uncle Peter.
Like, look, Uncle Ben.
Okay, Ben. My bad.
Yeah, that's your bad. But look, like some real stuff.
I ain't ask you to make rice, okay? I'm just saying. Continue.
Really?
Was that
you really want to try to hit that?
Was that the wrong Uncle
Ben? It was the wrong Uncle Ben. Totally wrong Uncle Ben. You're talking about the Uncle Ben on the rice box, the black guy.
Yeah.
Talk about Uncle Ben, Peter Parker's uncle.
Oops.
Ben Parker.
Continue.
Yeah, I see. Whatever. You know what? I don't even want to talk anymore. I'll say this. It is good for a man to have that aha moment where he has the ability to have his use, the mouth talk. You know what I mean? Being able to communicate, being able to speak to a woman that you never met before and be able to have a conversation, and hopefully it leads into something more depending on what you're looking for. I think that a lot of men just lack that confidence at certain points. And I think the best part that you said about that was being worldly, becoming more diverse. And that's something that I lean towards to you about a lot of times when we have our conversations, because it's like, I might not understand this. You'll be like, oh, I did this and that, or this is how they do this here. I'm like, explain. Or like, can you elaborate? Because I will be the first to admit I don't know everything, but the best way to know something is just ask questions and let people know, hey, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So you can either tell me a lie, I'm going to leave it, or I'm going to go ahead and take it and run with it. But I think to say that, so we can move to the next topic. The passport bros can be used, in a good or a negative way. And I think depending on how you utilize your passport determines on the type of person you are. If you want to be an F boy, be an F boy. But if you feel like you can be a world, you ever see the show that came out, the movie that came out, Ricky Stenicki?
No.
With John Cena?
No.
Me and the missus seen it, watched it, and it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Might have to put that on my list.
And the reason why, I won't get into it that much, but the dude was an actor. And like his friends, like they would lie and say like, "Hey, let's use the Ricky Stenicki. He's like our fake friend, but he doesn't exist." They found the actor to play him. And the actor was able to literally do everything that they wanted, and he even surprised them by being able to like talk about certain types of business stuff that nobody in their mama should know unless they're actually part of that business. But but the thing is, you become worldly and adapt to certain situations, and when you become that kind of person, Passport Bros make sense.
Now, a lot of the videos that I've been watching about Passport Bros, I don't think they really learning about culture. They acting like shameful Americans out there, acting a donkey, making me look bad when I go and say I'm an American. And they're like, uh-oh, trouble. But that's a whole nother topic. But to close out the Passport Bros, I mean, at the end of the day, America's borders are now, and I'm not going into politics, I'm just saying in general, it's almost like you don't have to leave the country anymore, that America is now becoming its own world country in its own. Because like, you moving into, if you from New York and you watching this, you already know you got Chinatown, you got K-Town. They don't have a big Japanese town, but you got that in Manhattan, and you got that in Flatbush. You got Brooklyn, where you got a whole nother Chinatown. You got Little Columbia. You got Queens, where it's nothing but Spanish, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, South America. You just got everywhere you can go, and you can literally get conversations going, not with just women, but with any type of people from those backgrounds. That's going to educate you just as much, if not more, because they're more open. Because a lot of the ones that are in America are trying to learn English, and they're more open to speaking to you than them being in their country and living their daily life. So I'm not saying you got to go ahead and leave the country to become that passport bro, but I think now whatever I got on my chest is no longer a stamp of I'm worldly and I'm at you. It's now more of, like you mentioned before, you a F-boy and you just out here slanging Willie to go slang Willie in other countries, and you probably got 50 kids in other countries and ain't out here wanting to take care of your kids because you want to give them 5 different names every time you go to the different country. I'm not saying that's what I'm doing. I'm just saying I know some people that's out there doing that. So it's not for me to be doing out there. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, if you're going to be a passport bro, just passport bro responsibly. That's all. And remember, these people I have feelings too. You going, and like, I'll end it on this. I seen a video the other day where this passport bro was making out with somebody in a small Asian country. It might have been the Philippines or something, but in that small country town, when you kiss a woman, it's a way of telling them your intention of getting married. And this man was dead making out with her in the streets, not knowing her daddy behind her. He thinking, oh, my baby about to get married and go to America. When he was just over here just trying to wild out. So if you about to get your passport stamp, remember you going to other people's country. So if you come up missing, I ain't going to blame them. You going around messing with them people. Just like I said, passport bro or passport girl responsibly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just learned something new today. Well, thank you.
But either way, the last thing that I want to talk about, you know, I'm going to lead it to you because you the one that brought it to me. You the one that brought it to me, boy. Mm-hmm.
I love you, Pookie. Go, Hawk Tuah, and spit on that thing.
Oh, you got to give him that Hawk Tuah and spit on that thing. You get me?
All right. So, my friend, That's been like the topic of discussion for the past few weeks. I've been seeing the memes, been seeing the content, I've been seeing the reiterations of it, the meshing of all different types of videos. And I gotta say, man, it is one of the most humblest, it's the best thing that could have happened in 2024 to me. Now,
They got
I want you,
merchandise right now, boy. I'm telling
they
you.
got merchandise. I want to hear your thoughts on it before I get into it, because I want to know, what do you think of everything about this? And do you believe there's something more to this? Like, is it something that we all can relate, no matter skin, race, religion, anything? Can we all understand this? Can we all embrace it?
I take it in two parts. For the actual interview, I honestly feel like the girl was super trolling. And upon the release of this episode, you'll notice that the content creators of that interview has released the full interview, and it gives you the full vision of what the Hawk Tuah girl is. And in my personal opinion, I feel like she was trolling, but there was some truth that she added in there. Now,
okay, where is it?
What's that? The truth that she added in
what
there?
What is it?
So, in today's, and might be getting me philosophical, getting deep into what my thoughts is, but in today's society, everything that we're doing is just elevating, and it's becoming a one-up program every generation that we get. If you really think about it, and this might be me rolling up my bridges and putting on my grown man pants, but what we realize, sex was never really talked about back in the day when our parents was being raised. It was something that was done behind closed doors and curtains. And then Playboy came out, then Hustler, then all of the other pornographic things. And I'm not saying I don't like porno. I'll be the main one clicking away. I got my categories and my bookmarks. Don't get me wrong. Big Booty Ebony is right there. Okay. But what I'm saying is, the expectations of the things that are in the bedroom is just constantly growing. Entering BDSM. Now we talking about anal play. Now we talking about all those things that were taboo back in the day are now front runners and expectations. So when I look at the Hawk Tuah girl, it's exactly what society wanted. That's exactly why it blew up so much, because it is serving right up the man's alley. Who don't like extra saliva and lubrication? I'm not going to say I don't, because if she turned around and she hit me with a slobber knocker, I'm over here like, yes, sir, toes curled and all. But you don't, I think it's because it was that Southern tone that she said it in, as well as the innocence that she looked on that video, that she turned around and did something so deliberate as a Hawk Tuah spit on that thing.
We all knew. Everyone knew it.
Every man that watched that thing said, "Where's my wife and why she ain't doing that?" And you know what that's going to cause? It now even catapulted another expectation. Because if that little innocent country girl out there in Tennessee doing a Hawk Tuah on a pipe, why is my wife over here making bland ass lasagna and even doing a Hawk Tuah for me? So for me, I think so my brain is split in two ways. What I consider wife material isn't what I consider in a sexual partner. Yes, that's my traditionalist. Don't get me wrong. There are some things. It's weird the way I think. Don't try to understand me. At the end of the day, I have two ways of thinking. The things that I do to a girl that are like that is like a booty call, or that is a person that I'm indulging in for that moment. We're indulging in each other. I'm gonna do a lot more nastier things because there's no sanctity in that. But if I have my wife,
you damage your little flower, huh?
Exactly. if I'm married to her, there's some things that I just feel like, oh no, I can't do that. That's disrespectful. That's my wife. I got to look at her the next morning. So What I'm just saying is this. Now that Hawk Tuah girl has come out, it's going to set some expectation in a lot of relationships where they're going to be looking at each other and be like, well, baby girl, if she can do it, can we try it? Can we do it? And then now it becomes a norm. And now every relationship you go to, it's going to be I expect this. Just like I expect head. I expect booty. I expect all of these in a relationship, whether it's from the male side or a female side. Just like a female is going to look at it and be like, yo, I know he's probably going to expect that. But then she's going to spit on the wrong pipe and he's going to be like, why did you just spit on me? That's disgusting. But either way.
You're not wrong about that, though.
It's not everybody's tone. And one thing about sex is just because it looked good to some people don't mean we all into it. It looked fine and dandy when you're looking on the porn on the corn hub and you looking on and you doing X Vatio and all of those other ones, and you looking at it and you in front of you got your whole setup, you got your Jergens, you got your Kleenex, you got everything you need, and you're like, yes, that's the one I like. Yeah, oh, look at her go. It's different when you get it in person. Yeah, buddy. I don't want to be too graphic, but you get that little throw up scene, and you was like, that's hot. That means if she throw up on me, I'm big.
Up.
Exactly.
You actually been throwing up on.
Until you get that puke, it's a whole room thing. Now you like, okay, I'm never doing this again. And that's my 2 cents on the Hawk Tuah. I know it was kind of long, but I came back to the Hawk Tuah.
You're good, man. I appreciate that. I couldn't wait to talk about it. I think for me, with the Hawk Tuah, I mean, just going off to the things that you stated there, man, it definitely is something that, because of the innocence, because of the Southern drawl, and the way that she is like a universal call, right? I think what makes it special, and what makes it something where we can be like, this makes sense, is because we look at it and we're looking at her, we're looking at the interview, and it didn't feel like it was staged. It felt like this is something that this girl like it was just coming, right? And when we look at it as a whole, yeah, you want your woman to try it, yes, and I think what it really does is allows us as a society to be like, all right, we can be open with our sexuality and be open with our partners because this happens. Like before, like you stated, like in the traditional world, ew, you eat pussy? Ew, you eat ass? Ew, you suck dick? I don't do like you don't? Like why? You're not supposed to tell anyone you're doing that. So granted, a lot of times you don't really want to kiss and tell, but that doesn't mean that you like it's put it like this. There's a few ways about it. For someone who is, slobbing on your knob, that person either, if they're good at it, there's a few reasons. Either one, they watched some stuff. 2, they've done it enough. 3, they practice on some type of object to get good so they can be good for their partner. Now, you would hope for the third one as someone who probably wants someone with a low count, but number 2 is more likely was the case because they learn. 1 and 2 is more understandable because when we're younger, we're looking at dudes stroke something or beat cheeks, and we're like, that's how we got to do it. So we go in there and just say,
Bumper mode.
But that's, yeah. So we're thinking that's how you're supposed to do it. But sometimes people like the slow, long strokes.
That genuine, that usher.
I'll say this to you, and this is funny that you say the thing that you said about you don't want to get down and dirty with your partner. You'll get down and dirty with somebody else that is like you're just hanging out with. And I can relate to that to an extent. And the reason being because I try not to destroy my partner the way I've destroyed others, because if I destroy my partner, she's not going to be able to be. And I have. And it's like, if I give her that, she's going to be like, fuck, my shit hurts. I'm sore. He's beating me. He's beating me the fuck up. He's O.J. Simpson in my vagina. But you know, just like my man's like Mike Tyson in the vagina. But here's the thing. You got to. I think there's a fine line because I did it one time, and when I was ready to go again the next day, and you know how they do in wrestling when you put them in a submission, I tap, I quit. Oh, now you quit. Now you don't want this. And the thing is, she's like, okay, Jordan's been holding back on me for this reason. Now I gotta chill because there's a reason. You can do certain things. I think it just has to be an increment with your significant other. Like if I go and beat cheeks off of something that ain't mine, I don't have to worry about it later. I can send that back. That's whoever's problem that is. But if it's mine, I can do it into a point where I know, like, all right, maybe her period's coming tomorrow, so I might as well go for broke because I know I'm not going to get it for a few days. Or, it's been a while since I've taken out some frustration on the cheeks. So let me do this. Or if I want to eat it like no other because I got to show I'm the best. That's the way I maneuver because that's how I am. But I get what you're saying about that because it's like, it is your little delicate little flower if that's wifey. Because if I go and just spit on that thing on her, it's like, damn, why he doing me like this? Like, did he watching Flick tonight? Like, what happened?
Why you treating me like some simpleton? Why you treating me like some hoe?
Why you treating me like a little hoe? I kind of like it, but damn, daddy.
That's degrading. Why'd you just shit on my chest?
Well, someone needed a Cleveland steamer today, and it had to been you.
Big facts.
So, but no, I say that, man. I think that it's a wake-up call because it is okay, and it's even okay if you want to do the Hawk Tuah to whoever. It's your body, your choice. But it makes it even better if you want to Hawk Tuah your person, and that was the best part about it, the way she was going about it, because she was talking about there's only one man that she wanted to Hawk to him, and that meant that she wanted to please him, and it didn't matter who knew about it. And that's the biggest part about that I liked.
So I'm going to give you homework, and what I want you to do is have a look at the full interview. Because they did a really good cut job, and I don't want to give too much out. And if you're viewing this, go ahead to I'll put their YouTube up in the middle. But go and look at the full interview. And I only say go and look at the full interview because she'll explain in the interview when she goes, I love you, Pookie. Well, little cliff note, Pookie ain't been serious. So Hawk Tuah girl been out here.
Well, so looks like I'm going to go do some homework.
Exactly. Because everybody looking at the innocence, you got to see the whole picture. And because they segmented out that interview in so many different phrases to get the whole full interview that everybody wanted to see, they missed so many integral parts of that interview that all they saw was the Hawk Tuah spit on that thing.
Oh, I did. I mean, part of that, I get what you're saying because part of that was like the best way to get over one is to get under another. So I feel like that didn't add up with it, but I felt like it still was one of those things where she still wanted that one person.
Yes, absolutely. She still wanted that one person. But this wraps around the whole episode we had today. She still wanted that one person, but she gonna do what she gonna do until that one person's serious. And that means you may not be that same person that man won't.
You may not.
After you done did. I'm going to say it this. You may not be the same person after you done did the Tour de France. Hey.
I think that's what we should wrap the episode up. Wee.
For real. Hey. And I'm gonna leave that on that. I'm gonna leave it on that.
It.
So
I like it.
I really appreciate y'all joining us as we had our little chabat. And I'm gonna go ahead and drop a poll along with the release of this. What I want to find out is, who do you think is the yin or the yang? And for those that don't know the yin and yang, the yin and the yang, you figure it out. One's the darker side, the other one's the light of the dark. That shade that brings the light to the dark. So now this ain't no colorism thing. So don't be trying to say I'm the darker because I'm a deep chocolate. But what I'm saying is, tell us personality based who y'all think it is. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We want to hear back from y'all. First episode out. And make sure y'all come back for the next episode because we about to have some more controversial stuff. Because, every day is some controversy.
We just getting started.
So either way, I'm Xavier. I'm signing out.
I'm Jordan. It was a pleasure.